Opinions expressed on this radio program do not necessarily reflect the views of this radio station.
My friends and I always tune into the Todd Levitt Law Show. Todd is entertaining, informative, and always delivers the goods.
Todd might not tell you what you want to hear, but he's going to tell you what you need to hear. And all you got to do is listen.
Hold on, Todd. Don't let go. It's time for the Todd L. Levitt Law Show.
It's a rainy afternoon, 1990. In the big city. Jeez, it's been 20 years. Candy. You were so fine.
With a flickering torch, I had a dream that no one else could see. You gave me love for free. Candy, 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 I can't let you go. All my life you're I love you so. Candy, 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 I can't let you go. Life is crazy. Candy, baby.
Yeah, well, it hurt me real bad when you left. Yeah, I'm glad you got out, but I miss you. I've had a hole in my heart for so long. I've learned to fake it and just smile along. Down on the street, the smell are all the same. I need a love. Not games, not games. Candy, 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 I can't let you go.
All my life you're haunting me, I love you so. Candy, 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 I can't let you go. Life is crazy.
Welcome to the Todd L. Levitt Law Show. Good morning, good evening, and good night. I'm yours truly, Attorney Todd L. Levitt, turning it and burning it in the middle of the mitten in a beautiful green nutrient field in the Black Diamond Group mothership with my good friend Craig Russell, the muscle, the hustle. Don't call me Mando. Adele wrote a song after me, and Adele wrote a song after me because after I said to Madonna like a virgin and then Britney Spears, Ooh Baby Baby, I got a tongue lashing from Craig Russell, the muscle, the hustle. Don't call him Mando. He's the gas man, America's favorite nug, folks. Little John's the best friend. Dink to dink to dink dink dink. Hey! Yeah! How you doing, Craig?
I'm fan-flippin-tastic. How are you, Todd?
I have no idea. Well, my throat is hoarse from shredding the gnar.
Okay.
Went on a night ride last night.
Ooh.
And night ride was awesome.
Where'd you go night riding at?
The Dragon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we went
Nice.
from Hardy Dam north
Nice.
to Big Bend with lighting up the trail. It's so bizarre at night. If any of you out there, and most of you have done anything at night, things look a lot different, obviously. So it's a bizarre thing that you just cannot let get into your head, Craig. If you let it in your noggin, then you're going to get hurt. You got to just keep it out of your head that it's dark out and there are animals that only come out at night. They're not after you.
Yeah.
They're not after you. But it was great. Big Hair was with me. Chucky, Shafe. It was a good shred.
Well, and it's funny you bring up night stuff because obviously if you listen to the show on 98.5 UPS, you didn't hear it last week because of the canoe marathon. That's something that runs at night, all through the middle of the night. They start at 9 o'clock at night, and it goes through till about 9 o'clock Sunday morning. So, that's interesting that you bring up the night thing, but I'm sure shredding the gnar at night has got to be even more bizarre. Do you guys have lights? Do you have like a hat with a light on
we
it,
have thousands of lumens lighting up the night, both on
Gotcha.
our noggins and the bars, front and back. But look, with all due love and respect to the canoeists who are out there going all night long, mile after mile after mile, I mean, I can't even stand in the same planet with those folks. Those guys go hard all night.
Yeah.
Jordan Wakely, Grayling's very own, Crawford County. Big shout out to Todd Wakely and the entire family up there. Todd's one of my best friends. Jordan took third place this year.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. Third place. I mean, that's a lot. There's a lot of paddlists, so.
It's just such a tough thing to do. I mean, if you get into a canoe, especially a canoe, and you're paddling.
Yeah.
Your shoulder blades and your lat muscles and your chest muscles and your legs just get torn up after a couple miles. Can you imagine going 20? How far is that?
I was going to say, I was going to give you a little trivia question. Todd, how many miles is it? I'm going to give you
50
three
something.
Hold on, I'm going to give you three choices.
57.
Okay. Is it A, 29, B,
Okay.
57, or C, 120?
Okay, I'm thinking, I don't know why 57. I never won the lotto. I was not the winning ticket of the Mega Millions. I'm going with 57.
120 miles. 120 miles from Grayling to Escoda.
Wow.
Yep. It's. I mean, that's why it's an all-night thing. I mean, those guys, it is a workout and a half. Those guys are in some fantastic shape. Unbelievable. But imagine if you were biking 120 miles. You ever biked 120 miles before?
I've done 100. I've done 100. I've done a century.
And did you almost die?
No, not at all. Actually.
Really?
I did it with Vinny Cate, who opens the show.
Wow.
Vinny Cate. Big shout out to Vinny Cate out there.
Vinny Cate.
He's making lighthouses now. He's got a great company.
Making lighthouses.
We'll have to have him on the show.
Yeah.
Wow. Vinny does the opening. He's the one that says, "Hold on tight, don't let go."
It's time for the Todd L. Levitt Law Show.
Right after Little John.
Yep.
There you go.
I had to do a Little John.
Hey, Craig, huge show today. Back by popular demand, breaking dishes and just destroying it is attorney at law Mike the Nichols of Nichols Law Firm, together with his lovely wife Wendy and all the other staff members, will be joining us in the mothership here briefly.
I was wondering about that term, back by popular demand. And were there people protesting outside of the Levitt Law offices in downtown Mount Pleasant saying, "Bring back Mike Nichols" with signs? We want the Nick. We
want the truth?
Nick.
Okay, I'll give you 1, 2, or 3.
Give me 2.
Okay, one, I just said it because it sounded like the right thing to say.
Sure.
2, I said it because it sounded like the right thing to say. Or 3, I'm tired of repeating myself, so take your best guess.
I'm going to guess 2.
There you go, Craig.
It sounded like the right thing to say. Yes, he's back by popular demand.
Yeah.
That's right.
Hey, how about the music? We opened up the show. Detroit, Michigan's very own Iggy Pop.
He is an ugly man. There's no way around it. Look, I'm not the best looking guy in the world either, so I feel like I'm an expert on it. He's just not an attractive guy.
Okay, look, I'm not going to comment on another guy necessarily, but I'll tell you this. My phone won't even recognize my facial recognition to turn on my iPhone lately, so I'm not even making this up.
What does that mean?
Well, most of my apps are controlled by facial recognition.
Okay.
And, throughout the day, my phone won't open the apps because it doesn't recognize my face. It's like, come on, man. Like,
what is your face doing? Is it changing?
It's getting old. It's getting old.
Okay,
57 years of age.
Whatever.
To all of those of us born in the 60s. What up, folks? Big to all of us born in the 60s.
What up, old people?
What up, old people like me, senior citizens? But hey, listen, Craig, we opened up the show with Iggy Pop and Kate Pearson of B-52's fame.
Yep.
That was a great song, Candy.
Good song. Oh, that's a good song.
Great song.
Good song. So if that's...
And that goes out to all the lovers out there.
To all the lovers. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Happy Valentine's Day to you. 7 months late. But
listen, Adele wrote a song about you.
Yeah, what song is this that Adele wrote about me? What is it?
Hello.
Oh God. Really? Is it me I'm looking for? That's Lionel Richie.
Hello. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it is. Like, that one is. But so anyway, so that's the song.
We promise never to sing again. By the way.
Yeah, it never happens. We always do. So that was the song we opened the show with. But what did you want to open the show with?
Well, I did. I failed to attend Lollapalooza to see Lars and James and Metallica, and they were at Lollapalooza, and I've watched it on video at least 50,000 times. I would really just like to play mandatory Metallica for the next 24 hours, 7 days a week, or in fact every day. But I know we're not going to. But I just want to state that because I'm just disappointed that, you know, my firstborn Rachel, who used to live in Chicago, didn't say, hey, Dad, I know you've seen Metallica a dozen times. They're back and they're at Lollapalooza. So my daughter is not necessarily the complaint of the week. It's all people in convertibles, and I'll get to that later. But I wanted to play the beginning of the one and only, the legendary R.I.P. Prince. You know the song. I mean, just the riff just destroys it. I wanted to play that, Craig.
So wait a minute, Todd. That's not what you sent me earlier in the week. You sent me the Cranberries.
Yeah, the Cranberries, Zombie.
Yeah, Zombie.
I was on a Cranberries kick because I was just bummed out that, you know, Dolores, you know, just a great musician, artist, that she passed so young, along with Prince and so many other greats out there. But yeah, I wanted to destroy it with some Zombies.
It's good to be on a cranberry regimen. That keeps the urinary tract nice and healthy. Just saying.
Either that or prune juice.
That's right.
What you want. Yeah,
that's right. Either way. So,
but Craig,
big show.
Yeah, you just sent me a little note here while we're playing the Cranberry Zombie. What about convertibles? I'm a former convertible driver, so I feel that the fact that I once had a convertible, that I'm able to say this. And I had a 98 4.6 liter black on black Mustang convertible 5-speed. I loved it. But don't you ever notice when somebody's in a convertible, they're always looking at themselves in the rear view mirror? Do you ever notice that, Craig? The roof is down, they're driving along, but they're always looking at themselves in their hair while they're driving. Not that other people don't do that, but I was a convertible driver, and you notice other convertible drivers when you, like, if you have a truck, a Chevy truck, a certain color, you notice other Chevy trucks of that color.
Sure.
I just happened to have a convertible for years, and I would always notice that other convertible drivers would be, looking at themselves in the rearview mirror. Am I the only one with that observation, Craig? I'm just asking you.
Well, I'll say this much. Whenever I see somebody in a convertible, they're usually got big flowing hair. And that fits you perfectly because you've got lots of flowing hair.
It was 1998.
Oh, you even had more hair then. It's not like you've gotten hair
2
back.
years before I saw Metallica with Kid Rock in Lincoln Park at the Silverdome for the Millennia. That was a great concert.
Oh, the Silverdome. Good times.
Yeah,
Good
that was
times.
Millennia. We thought the roof was going to come down on us as it turned over to 2000.
And little did they know.
But yeah, they were. But I think Metallica was playing. God, what was that song? I don't remember what they were playing at midnight, but I just know that we were all just destroying it.
And Justice for All, or was that the name of the album?
And Justice for All is just a great song.
Oh, okay, maybe that's what they were playing. But so I see you looking in the mirror and admiring your hair as you're flowing through the wind. I could see that completely with you and your black on black Mustang convertible.
Oh yeah, and you are correct about it. And Justice for All, that was a great album.
No, okay, well there we go. So
One was on that album, by the way.
Yes, and wasn't the Unforgiven on that album too, or no? I'm thinking of something.
No, you're going. You got to fast forward quite some years. No, I think on that album was "I the Beholder," "Harvest of Sorrow," the frayed ends of sanity, Craig Russell, The Muscle, The Hustle. But the two big songs out of that were "and Justice for All," which went 9 minutes, I think, like in 46 seconds.
Yeah,
and one which was I think 7 minutes plus.
One of those wasn't in Justice for All. Didn't it have the weird video where the guy is like going crazy and it's got clips of like that old movie?
That's one.
Is that one? Okay. Yeah,
it was actually their fourth studio album.
Can never keep that stuff straight. But hey, we should probably get to special guest Mike Nichols here coming up in the next segment, should we not?
Can't wait. And also we have two special guests, at least one out of the two, Grant or Judd from M66 Group.
G-Money.
Strain of the Week. G-Money and JJ.
Oh, and JJ. G-Money and JJ. Got it. All right. Well, we'll take a break on the Todd L. Levitt Law Show. We'll be right back.
It's a rainy afternoon, 1990. In the big city. Jeez, it's been 20 years. Candy. You were so fine. Beautiful girl from the north. You burn my heart with a flickering torch. I had a dream that no one else could see. You gave me love for free. Candy, I can't let you go. All my life you're haunting me. I love you so. Candy, I can't let you go. Life is crazy. Candy, baby.
Yeah, well, it hurt me real bad when you left. And I'm glad you got out, but I miss you. I've had a hole in my heart for so long. I've learned to fake it and just smile alone. Down on the street, the smell are all the same. I need love, not games, not games. Candy, I can't let you go.
All my life, you're haunting me. I love you so. Candy, I can't let you go.
Life is crazy.
Welcome back to the Todd L. Levitt Law Show. Still struggling with the voice over the weekend here, Craig Russell, the Muscle Hustle. I just cannot work it out this morning. I've done everything from cold pizza to Slurpees, bananas, and nothing coconut. Nothing is helping the throat of throats. I mean, you've been in radio for 120 years. What helps the throat that you can't just get it back, Craig?
Well, I'll tell you this much. I've never heard anyone using cold pizza or Slurpees or coconut to get a voice back. Usually it's hot tea or lemon or gargling with salt water. That's what helps your throat.
Craig,
Todd?
answer 3 questions.
Okay.
1, Todd just made it up.
Yeah.
And didn't know what he was going to say until he said it. 2, Todd made it up, didn't know what he was going to say until he said it. Or number 3, Mike Nichols is in the studio once again, everybody.
Hey, I'm going to go with number 3.
Number 3, welcome back to the show, attorney Mike Nichols. How are you?
I just want to say that Craig's been in radio for so long, he got his throat remedies from Thomas Alva Edison himself.
No, actually, it was Mr. Marconi. Thank you. Thank you.
Marconi, that's right.
Try the veal.
That's right.
Mike Nichols, hey man, we're glad to have you back in the show. This is part 3 of a 22-part series.
22-part series.
Talk about just making it up.
Yeah, but my question is, where is Wendy, the boss, a.k.a. attorney at law, Wendy Nichols from Nichols Law, East Lansing, Michigan? Where's Wendy? We want Wendy in the mothership.
The boss just went upstairs to watch a movie with Morgan so that we would have quiet and a dish banging free taping session.
Until Craig puts in the sound effects.
Yeah, some breaking dishes. That'll be perfect.
Mike Nichols, Nichols Law, for those who are just tuning in for the first time. Where are you located there, Mr. Nichols?
We are located in East Lansing, Michigan.
And what type of law do you practice?
Well, as you know, I do mostly OWI defense, and that's OWI whether it's by marijuana or alcohol or a combination of both, with or without some prescription medication. Criminal defense, we have some outstanding criminal defense attorneys. Myself, I'd like to think included in that.
The best. You are the best,
injury.
and I'm not just saying that. I'm a defense attorney myself, almost 30 years. But you are the creme de la creme, my friend. You are the attorney that all us other lawyers turn to. And I'm not joking, folks. When we need to get advice, guidance, recent decisions, interpretation, and also you draft and are the author of books that most of us read and study to keep up on the practice of law. That is who literally Mr. Mike Nichols is, folks.
And by the time this airs, I will be hopefully just about done with the update to the Michigan OWI manual. But our firm also does personal injury and family law. Wendy, the boss, who's not in the mothership, as you put it, is a phenomenal personal injury lawyer. And so that's pretty much what we do.
And, of course, you have a history. You hear the golden tones of Mike Nichols. You used to be a former radio broadcaster. Is that not correct, sir?
I was in radio and TV from about 1987 to 1998. When I was about to graduate law school, I took a clerkship at a small law firm in Lansing and never looked back.
You decided to get a real job.
I wanna like sit in for Todd Levitt on the Todd L. Levitt Law Show sometime.
You are right now. You don't even realize it. I'm not even talking. Are you kidding me? I'm literally listening to some Prince, Purple Rain. Yes, folks, I'm a hardcore rocker. So I was listening to some Drowning Pool earlier on the way to the studio, and now I'm listening to Prince. That is the stretch of my musical taste there, folks. So plus I love Iggy Pop. We opened up with Iggy Pop. But Mr. Nichols,
a little Candy.
Love Candy. Great tunage there with the lady from the B-52s. There's a recent, decision, opinion on the Fourth Amendment that I was anxious to have you on the airwaves talking about. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, it's kind of a funky name of the case, People versus Bursich. It's from Sheboygan County. And the nub is that the police officers went and got a search warrant, but the search warrant requested a search for a person who could be found in the Sheboygan County Jail without identifying with particularity the place to be searched, which would be, the person by name. And the trial court and the circuit court both said, yeah, that's not a valid search warrant. You got to have you can't just go look for somebody in the Sheboygan County Jail and say, we think this guy needs to be searched. You can't do that because that would make it overly broad, which is a violation of the Fourth Amendment. And the Michigan
But it didn't
Court of
specify
Appeals
who was to be searched.
just said somebody at the Sheboygan County Jail, an individual to be found at the Sheboygan County Jail.
So let me back up a
Literally
moment.
what the search warrant said.
Let me back up a moment. Who requested the search warrant? And can you explain to the audience who actually, at that time of the night, morning, or day, will sign a warrant so broad like that? I mean, how did that come about in the first place?
Yeah, and I don't know if it was, I forget it, and maybe they didn't even identify it, but whether it was like the magistrate or the district court judge, but it would be one of those. And, you wake them up, it's, 11, 12, 3, 4 a.m., whatever time, and they have to assess whether or not the officer seeking the warrant, who in that context we call that person the affidavit, whether or not that person has sufficient probable cause to establish that evidence of a crime, a specific crime, would be found in either the place or the person, right? With a blood draw, you're searching a person, to be searched.
And so if a magistrate or judge signs a search warrant for an unnamed individual in a jail, that could literally put at stake the constitutional violations of every inmate currently serving in that jail system if the officer just randomly walks into their cells and starts searching individuals and their belongings.
Right. I mean, let's say there are 50 men and women sitting in the jail at that moment. That search warrant could apply to all 50 of them. And
so what
49,
happened?
49
yeah, exactly.
They have no business searching the other 49.
So what happened? So the trial court and circuit court ruled what in regards to that search warrant?
The defense attorney appropriately filed a motion it's called a motion to quash the search warrant. And the trial court granted that motion, finding that the search warrant as drafted was overly broad. And the prosecutor appealed to the circuit court. The circuit court said, sorry. And then the prosecutor again appealed to the Court of Appeals, and the Court of Appeals affirmed the lower court, which means the defense attorney won, search warrant quashed, evidence from that search warrant suppressed, and see you later.
Wow. And I wonder how many other individuals in that county jail had their rights violated on the way to locating the individual who became the defendant, whose attorney then filed the motion that went up the chain of the courts in the first place.
Well, that's a good point, but as I read the opinion, it looked to me like, they knew who the person was, who they wanted. They were just sloppy in how they drafted their affidavit and search warrant.
So the ruling and opinion and decision ultimately says what for the citizens of the great state of Michigan there, Mr. Nichols?
If a search warrant for blood does not identify the particular person by name who the cops want to search, then that search warrant is invalid and the evidence flowing from that search is suppressed.
All right, one for the people. That's an outstanding attorney who brought that motion to begin with.
Yeah, I love it. Defending.
Did you say Levitt? It wasn't me.
Case at a time.
You said Levitt, right? You said Levitt. It was not my case.
Yeah, Levitt. Yeah.
No, it was not my case. But
it wasn't mine either.
Yeah. There's some other big things going on in the world of the Nick, Mike Nichols, attorney at law, here on the Todd L. Levitt Law Show. What else is going on? You've got some other big cases. I mean, I'm not sure how much you can talk about them, but what can you talk about in regards to some of those big cases?
Yeah, I just finished a sentencing memorandum in a federal case, which was it was a 2-day project, more than 2 days. I mean, it was just the last 2 days was nothing but drafting. And that was pretty significant. I just settled an OWI causing death case which was pretty nasty, and just settled a moving violation causing death case with a careless driving for that client. And that
You're saying on behalf of the plaintiff, you were the plaintiff's attorney?
No, the moving violation causing death, I represented the driver who was accused of committing a moving violation, and the moving violation was allegedly both, we call it but for. In other words, what happened doesn't happen without the conduct, but also proximate cause, which means there's nothing that broke the chain of causation, no intervening act by anyone else, a third party, that means that the conduct is either excused or the link between act and result is broken. And there were a lot of things going on with that case. Those cases are just horrible.
Yeah.
And it's a really good result for the client, and I'm glad we got there.
Yeah, we had a successful week. We got a number of decisions reinstating individuals' driving privileges. But when we come back from break, Mr. Nichols, I have a decision from the Office of Hearing and Oversight, and I'd like to get your opinion. I think the listeners might be interested in it. I have my interpretation of how it should have been resolved. The state of Michigan has their interpretation of how it's going to be resolved, and unfortunately, my client has no recourse. And it's, again, another example of a dead end. And we're not going to give up. We're going to keep fighting for this individual, but I want to get your opinion on it when we come back from break.
All right.
And we'll take a break on the Todd L. Levitt Law Show. We'll be right back.
It's a rainy afternoon, 1990. In a big city. Jeez, it's been 20 years. Candy. You were so fine. Beautiful, beautiful girl from the north. You burned my heart with a flickering torch. I had a dream that no one else could see. You gave me love for free. Candy, 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 I can't let you go. All my life you're haunting me, I love you so. Candy, 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 I can't let you go. Life is crazy. Candy, baby.
Yeah, well, it hurt me real bad when you left. And I'm glad you got out, but I miss you. I've had a hole in my heart for so long. I've learned to fake it and just smile along. Down on the street, the smell are all the same. I need a love, not games, not games. Candy, 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 I can't let you go.
All my life, you're haunting me, I love you so. Candy, 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 I can't let you go.
Life is crazy.
Welcome back to the Todd L. Levitt Law Show. Iggy Pop from Detroit, Kate Pearson from Athens, Georgia, from the B-52s, and Candy. Where did you hear that, Todd, that made you want to do that song this week?
You know, I've known about that song for generations. And I don't know. I was watching Anthony Bourdain on I don't know what he was on. I was watching something on Netflix or HBO. and he was interviewing Iggy Pop on a beach, and I thought, man, the song that just came to my noggin, Mike and Craig, was Candy. And growing up in the 80s and late 70s, the B-52s, we used to go to kiddie dance clubs, Spanky's in Waterford, the Premier Center on 15 in Van Dyke, and they just the B-52s used to destroy it. I mean, no one was paying attention at the time, but it was a lot of fun. But anyhow, Candy, we had to play some Candy today.
Great song.
For Mike Nichols and his wife Wendy, all the lovers out there.
That's for the lovers. Attorney Mike Nichols is here. Hello, Mr. Nichols. How are you? Yes, thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
Nichols Law, East Lansing, Michigan. Mike, give out your number again.
517-432-9000.
517-432-9000.
9,000. Mike Nichols.
9,000.
Okay, so here's my case, complaint, gripe, frustration of the week. You ready for it?
Yep.
2 years ago, represented an individual, Secretary of State, administrative hearing, at which time he was granted relief. He was granted restricted driving privileges with a required ignition interlock affixed to whichever vehicle he would operate. Fast forward 2 years to this month. He contacts my office and says, "Hey, Todd." I said, "Hey, client, how you doing?" He says, "Well, I had a rough 2 years. After you were able to obtain restricted driving privileges for me, I filed bankruptcy. I'm a vet, which we love our vets out there, so big shout out to all the vets. I filed bankruptcy. I've been struggling, going to the VA. I was not able to afford, one, a vehicle, and two, to have an ignition interlock put on the vehicle in which to exercise my rights and obtain the restricted license." And I said, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, but
so they ordered that he could get that BAID license, the interlock license." Correct.
Right, with a BAID device. Okay. Correct. And typically, Mike, because you do these as well as I do, the order, and you have to read them. The order is a document that the attorney on behalf of the Secretary of State will type up and issue. It's an order. And it's the Secretary of State then will enter it into the system, and it goes on your driving record. So when you go to the branch office, they know what to do. They're directed. Well, typically these orders, the restricted license is indefinite. So for instance, if you go 2, 3, 4 years, and then you say, "Oh, okay, I can afford a car now. I can afford the ignition interlock and insurance. I'm going to exercise that restricted license for a period of 1 year, at which point you then seek removal of it." Well, in this case, the hearing officer, the attorney, Mike, put a sunset clause in the order that said that you have to reappear before my office May 2022, at which point the 2-year restricted license will terminate. Well, I took a look at this and said, wait a minute, client. One, you never went through the process to obtain the restricted license in the first place. So in my opinion, the piece of paper that granted you restrictions, albeit said you only had 2 years to exercise it, in itself is not a restricted license. It's just a piece of paper that's called an order. And the fact that you never obtained the restricted license, therefore, the 2-year time period should not have started to toll. So that was my argument. I contacted the head attorney, who's a friend of mine at the Secretary of State. Nothing but respect for that person. I'm not going to name names, Mr. Nichols. You know who I'm speaking of. And this individual completely disagreed with me and said, nope, that restricted license expired after 2 years, and he has to go through the entire process once again, spend all the money, hire an attorney, which I would do it for free. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, again, put it in perspective here. He was granted restrictions, and after he obtained the restrictions, after a 2-year period, by a date certain, it would terminate. He'd have to go back to the state seeking full privileges. Well, he never obtained the restrictions. So my question to Mr. Nichols is, to put you on the spot, what's your opinion on that? If he never obtained the restricted license, then how can it terminate after a 2-year period?
Yeah, you're punishing him for not having the means. That's exactly what that's doing.
Debtor's prison, basically.
And I don't think anybody in this climate that we're in right now wants to see that happen because it's not the right thing. And my guess is, I know who you're talking about. We have the same contact. That person probably feels like, this sucks, but I have to read the statute the way I read it. You and I disagree with it, but
I don't know where it's written, where it says that in any of the administrative rules. I see what your point is, and I see what she's doing. Now, these are state of Michigan employees. I was told that by the head person, she didn't have the authority to go back to the administrative hearing officer and have him amend the order so that the 2-year period now started once again. Because my argument is, okay, it was put in writing on a piece of paper that once you obtain restrictions, you have 2 years, that it's going to last for a 2-year period. Well, he never exercised his right to it in the first place, so the 2 years never started tolling. So I think it should just be amended and given another 2 years right now.
Right.
But anyway, that's that. I just wanted to get your opinion on that because that just burns my noggin. But again, I don't have any appeal rights because the time to appeal under the statute has already passed, which is wrong.
Well, at least finally your complaint of the week is something not related to driving.
It is. No, I had one earlier. You missed it. Craig,
okay.
Let Mr. Nichols, who, by the way, is a very handsome man with a good head of hair. Why don't you tell him about it, Craig?
So
Todd's complaint
earlier
Do we really need to rehash it? Okay.
Yes, we do need to rehash
it.
So Todd's complaint earlier was about people who have convertibles. Todd made mention of the fact that he used to have a 1998 black-on-black 5-speed Ford Mustang convertible. And that people who have convertibles, he notices that when they're driving, they watch themselves in the mirror and they took a look at their hair flowing in the wind as they're driving their convertible. And that's what I said to him. I said, I see you being that guy. He's got a fantastic head of hair.
I was that guy. Full acknowledgement.
Yeah. And
I'm acknowledging it. I was that guy. That's why I'm saying it.
Do you have a convertible there, Mike Nichols?
You know what? We used to have one, and I think Wendy sold it and bought a different car to replace it.
Was she always looking in the rear view mirror at her hair?
Oh, don't even get me started.
Or she was thinking of you looking in the rearview mirror. You're here.
She's like, when she had that thing, she was like Christy Brinkley in
Yes.
Chase.
This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy.
National Lampoon.
Yeah.
Come on, bring back Mad Magazine, or is it still out there? I got to get a Mad Magazine.
It's still out there.
I love Spy vs. Spy. Mad Magazine, folks.
But it's an app now, Todd. Get with the program.
Come on.
It's 2022.
I can't. My phone won't open. It doesn't facially recognize my face. I got issues, Mr. Nichols. So
you're going to sue your iPhone for not recognizing your face.
You have to take off the sunglasses for 10 seconds.
Yes, I love it.
Oh my God.
So Mike Nichols, attorney at law, Wendy Nichols, two of the best lawyers in the state of Michigan. Nichols Law, located out of East Lansing, but I can tell you, folks, they practice from the top of the UP all the way to the bottom of the Lower Peninsula. Mike, can you once again give out the firm phone number so those individuals out there can contact your office if they need representation?
Oh, that number, Todd, would be 517-432-9000.
One more time, Mike, with my fake radio voice.
That's 517-432-9000.
So let me ask you a question. Back to my situation. How would you have approached that? I mean, the only thing you can do in that situation is contact the individual in which I did. Is that correct? Is there anything else I could have done different or could do different?
Wendy has lamented that many times I've taken, an 8-hour day and turned it into a 10-hour day by saying, sorry, Craig. I'm so mad, and I, spend 2 hours of time filing an appeal to circuit court, tell her I need a check to pay the filing fee, and I just go do it. I text or email the client and say, we're just going to do this.
Right, but under the statute, in order to appeal for good cause, that time period has expired. It was 2 years ago.
I think I would have done it as soon as I got the email back from anonymous person at the Secretary of State, who you and I both know who it is.
But albeit the statute and the time period told, you would still file that and see what happens with the Attorney General?
Yeah, I would tell the circuit court judge it's not jurisdictional. We still have the ability to come in because, this is equitable relief, and this person deserves it.
Okay.
This person deserves it. They've been clean. They just could not afford it. You can make a difference, Judge. Here's your opportunity.
Yeah, I had that conversation with a colleague of ours.
Do something good with your life, Judge.
Yes, indeed. I think I will do that. That's exactly, again, I said it earlier, folks. And Mr. Nichols, Mike, you and I have not had this conversation previously, correct? I mean, literally?
Correct.
Yeah, so I mean, again, I mentioned
We're literally
earlier,
case reviewing it on the fly.
We are, and I
Live on
mentioned
the radio.
earlier that us attorneys, we turn to you and your wife. I mean, you write the books, you give the speeches. We turn to you for this type of interpretation, and live in real time. You and I should do probably a show on like Real TV or a YouTube show together. What do you think, Mike? And
Case
Craig
review
Russell could
without-
be in the background. He could be
Case
the
review without the names.
Yeah, let's do
Case
it.
review issues.
Yeah, want to do it?
I think that could be fun.
We'll find a place for Craig Russell, the muscle, the hustle, America's favorite nug, the gas man.
How in the world are you guys going to get both of your great heads of hair on the same camera? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. Oh man.
Oh, we're gonna do it like a Van Halen concert.
They did it when
we're gonna
they filmed
just
Once Upon a
destroy
Time in
it.
Hollywood. They did it when they filmed Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
That's true. That is
They
a
got
fine
both
point.
Brad Pitt, right?
Yeah.
And the guy who looks like Bruce Lee. Have you seen that head of hair?
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I like to think of myself more as Sylvester Stallone and you more as I don't know, Harrison Ford.
That's pretty good.
Harrison Ford.
That's pretty good.
I don't know. I just, again, 3 questions, Craig. Number 1, I came up with it. Number 2, I came up with it. Number 3, I had no idea what I'm talking about.
I'm going to go with number 2.
You know what's out there on the internet right now? Harrison Ford was a pot dealer before he landed the role as Han Solo.
Really?
Yeah. Good for him. Good for him. We do have the strain of the week coming up here shortly, by the way.
That's right. The gold standard, Mike Nichols in the house. Mr. Nichols.
Yeah. Stick around for the strain of the week, Mike.
Stick around for the strain of the week. We'll take a break on the Todd L. Levitt Law Show. We'll be right back.
It's a rainy afternoon, 1990. In the big city. Jeez, it's been 20 years. Candy, you were so fine. Beautiful, beautiful girl from the north. You burned my heart with a flickering torch. I had a dream that no one else could see. You gave me love for free. Candy, 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 I can't let you go. All my life you're haunting me, I love you so. Candy, 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 I can't let you go. Life is crazy. Candy, baby.
Yeah, well, it hurt me real bad when you left. Hell, I'm glad you got out, but I miss you. I've had a hole in my heart for so long. I've learned to fake it and just smile along. Down on the street, the smell are all the same. I need love, not games, not games. Candy, 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 I can't let you go.
All my life, you're haunting me, I love you so. Candy, 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 I can't let you go.
Life is crazy.
Oh, welcome back to the Todd L. Levitt, Mike Nichols, Craig Russell, the Muscle Show. We are on the show alone, located on an island somewhere, foraging, fishing, and making a fire. I'm foraging, Mike is fishing, and Craig, you're just making the fire. How do you do it, Craig?
Usually with 2 pieces of wood and a match.
Hey, Mike, you guys ever see that show Alone? I'm so addicted to it. I love it.
I'm too busy foraging right now.
Foraging. Yeah, I've had to go back and watch it from the beginning. They dropped 10 individuals off on a remote island somewhere, and depending upon who lasts the longest, they get $500,000 after before taxes. But it's unbelielievable, these people. I mean, some of the shelters are second level. I mean, it's crazy.
Can I just maybe sort of can I also be I don't know, sojourning as well as foraging? I think I could do both a sojourn and a forage at the same time. I could forage on the sojourn.
You're a far better man than I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, but you grew up in Higgins Lake. I mean, you have those outdoor skills, Mike.
That's true.
Yes, Roscommon, where if you don't ice fish, if you don't hunt, you're not going to have very many friends.
Exactly. So what do you got coming up for law in the upcoming week? What kind of cases do you have, Mike, that you can talk about?
Well, I got to get the update done for the book, and that's pretty boring. And unfortunately, I'm going to be spending time working this weekend, although I do plan to be in East Tawas, visiting with our friends and your listener, Todd L. Levitt, Jay Green, and Laurel Green.
Nice.
At the Triple R Ranch in Tawas City. Yeah, they
big shout out to Jay Green
all the time. He loves you.
Oh man, great guy. Great guy.
We will ride some horses. Maybe get out on the boat for a minute or two. And
nice.
I gotta swing those golf clubs all while updating the book. So I'll probably sleep about 4 hours total this.
With Jay Green.
With Jay Green.
Big shout out to Jay Green and Mikey's Pizza up there. My brother-in-law in Whittemore and Hale. Go have some pizza from Mikey's Pizza up there.
Yeah.
And absolutely.
I've got that federal sentencing that we talked about in Grand Rapids.
Yes.
Is Thursday the 11th. That'll be intense. I may be picking a jury on an OWI case with the City of Grand Rapids, City Attorney's Office, with some fun issues going on there on that Thursday. And then Friday the 12th, I've got something I should look at my calendar. I can look at it right now because it's on my MacBook.
Okay, while you're looking at that, I have to go visit my cousin Anthony, AZ, young AZ, my cousin AZ's son, AZ. Young Anthony, 3.5 years of age, got kicked off the ice last week at his hockey practice. He's only 3.5, Craig. Yeah, and he got booted off the ice. So we got a future Koser Probert here in the family. Like
what is he presumed not guilty of doing that led to him getting kicked off the ice?
I'm just going to
say. By the way, you see what I did there?
Yeah, I love that. You're such a defense attorney. I'm just going by what his father told me, but at 3.5, he's learning how to skate. He can already tear it up. He's great with the stick, his hands, the movement, and he's a little aggressive there on the ice. But that's going to be great for later on in life when he plays hockey for his high school and in the NHL. So, yep.
Some people.
Jack, his brother is his godfather. Big shots to Jack. But anyway, Mike. Question for you. I know we're running short on time, and did we ever get to the strain of the week, Mike?
No, we have not.
Some people say I'm better with my hands than my stick.
Did you play hockey?
No, he says. No, he didn't.
What's that?
If I answer that question, Craig has to edit out this whole entire exchange. So I'm just going to take the fifth.
I couldn't. Somebody's distracted me walking around here in the studio, so I got a little distracted there. So
we were talking about something legally related, and I don't remember what it was. Oh,
yeah, what were you?
Friday, I have a motion to suppress on a drunk driving case in East Lansing.
What are you going to suppress on a drunk driving case?
The whole kit and caboodle, because the traffic stop is not supported by the Michigan Vehicle Code. Officer got a little bit greedy.
Nice.
In my opinion. He's a good cop. I like him. Good kid. But I just think he violated the Fourth Amendment.
Yeah, I've got a string of those cases over the decades that we could talk about. We should do an entire show on the Fourth Amendment. Something else I want to mention, Mike. I mean, we all love the Second Amendment, but as an attorney, you have successfully fought for individuals to obtain their Second Amendment rights back. Isn't that correct?
This is true. Yep. I've had some of those cases. Yep.
So, and once again, we'll give out your phone number.
517-432-9000.
Perfect.
Mike Nichols. Mike Nichols in the house. Mike Nichols, thank you, sir. Thank you.
You and Jay
Thanks,
Green have a
fellas.
great time out there.
And tell us.
Do you call him
Jay
Greenie?
Green.
Do you call him Greenie?
No, I just call him Jay.
Okay.
Our relationship's not there yet. It's just Jay.
I'm just saying, I got a
after
buddy
this
whose
weekend.
last name is Green. We called him Greenie. He's a great guy. That's a
maybe
great
after
Well,
life.
you're like Bush 43. You've got a nickname for everybody.
You're the Nick. I hope he calls you Mike the Nick Nichols from Higgins Lake.
Todd, I hate
can
to
you start
break-
calling me McLovin?
How about Nick? How about Nick Lovin? Nick Lovin.
Nick Lovin. Yes. Yes.
Todd, I hate to break the news to you, man, but the show's over. We got to get going.
Craig, we never got to Wedding Cake or Orange Crush or, any of those great Fat Kids Cake strains of the week. But, folks, keep smoking, keep toking. We're not here for a long time. We're here for a Cheech and Chong good time, folks. And we'll talk more about that on next week's show. Same place, same time next week. Mike Nichols, thank you for coming on. Nichols Law, Craig Russell, as always. Take us out. I'm not just a litigator. I'm an advocator. Keep moving forward or get left behind, folks.
The Todd L. Levitt Law Show, brought to you by Chad Mallywell Drilling of Rosebush, Clark Modular Homes of Mount Pleasant, Ace of Diamonds of Mount Pleasant, Clear Vision Windows, Siding, and Roofing, now booking in Central and Northern Michigan, and attorney Todd L. Levitt.
Opinions expressed on this radio program do not necessarily reflect the views of this radio station.